Hey, thanks for checking out this video today. If we have not had the pleasure of crossing paths yet, I'm very happy that you're here. And my name is Michelle, and I am at sensatesoul.com as well as thesoultranslator.com. And I love to support everything that has to do with soul, empathy, sensitivity, creativity, and empathic entrepreneurs, or also conscious prosperity. All right, so in this video, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about, is the empathic entrepreneur and some of our particular challenges. Now, first of all, if you are unfamiliar with what an empath is, or you're just beginning to discover that you are one, an empath is somebody who feels the sensitivities, or is sensitive to the feelings and thoughts, moods, vision, ideas, possibilities of being very intuitive to energies and the feelings of others. Others can be people, animals, groups, areas, cultures, the world. So to me, honestly, being an empath means that you're really highly sensitive to the sentience of other beings and to energy itself. So we have a bit of a different wiring in our brain, in our nervous systems, and for those reasons, that also makes us extrasensory, extra sensitive, and there's so many beautiful sides to that. And of course, there are some challenges. And today we're going to be talking about some of the challenges for an empathic entrepreneur. So first of all, do you know that saying? I'm sure you've probably heard it, like Oprah says it many times. I don't know who originally does it. I'll have to look that up. But about being the captain of your master of your fate, captain of your destiny. It could be a little bit switched around there. So basically, it's the whole idea of that you create your own reality. You are the master of your fate, or masteress. You know, it's also, if you think about it, the underpinning of a lot of manifestation and new thought movement, and as well metaphysical, a lot of spiritual lessons come down to this belief that we create our own realities. Now, without going too far down the rabbit hole with that, what I want to talk about is that idea can be very challenging for empaths and sensitives. So why would that be? Because we all want to feel in control of our lives, and we all want to have that sense that, you know, we're on it, we're on top of it, we're, you know, we're completely in control. Are we ever really? No. We are in control of how we respond and think and feel and perceive things. That's really the most in control we can possibly be. This idea can be really challenging for a lot of empaths and sensitives, and you know, we have to work with our mindset and our nervous system to be able to step more into the belief of that. Because why? Many of us have been raised not feeling in control of our own emotions, not being in control of what's happening around us, because we're sensing and feeling so much all the time. So this idea that we can actually be in control of that can be a bit of like a, what? I can? Because really, it's all kind of coming at me. Instead of me being able to be in the driver's seat of what's, you know, going on here. So that's one reason, because of empathic sensitivities, there can be this mindset that gets set up that we are not actually able to create our realities, because we're all so sensitive to the energies and sensitivities of other people's realities around us. So it can get really confusing. So in a moment, I want to share 3 things about this that will also be useful for you as an empathic entrepreneur. But first, I want to talk about the amazingness of empathic, sensitive, spiritual. You don't have to necessarily be spiritual to be sensitive, but oh my God, to be an empathic, sensitive entrepreneur is such a gift to the world. Why is that? Because you have an ability to sense the things that want to be healed. Usually most empaths are incredibly creative and innovative, and even channels of possibility of new things that want to be manifested, created, that are going to help other people, that are going to help the planet, that are created with a kind of idea. They're birthed from a place of service to the goodness and the greater good of others and of the planet. And what more noble awesomeness when it comes to being an entrepreneur is that? So please don't doubt yourself as an empathic entrepreneur, because even though it might be more challenging to step into being an entrepreneur, so please, the first step is always to value that you do have a contribution. You have an amazing contribution, and that it's really, even if it is challenging, a little more challenging for empaths and sensitives to step into the entrepreneur role, because it means more exposure, because it means being heard and speaking up, and all of those different things that a lot of empaths and sensitives that we, kind of train ourselves out of in order to stay safe. But my gosh, beautiful, dear empath and sensitive, we need you. All right, you have a sight into certain things about being human and about the world that can bring a really beautiful and elevated sense of empathy and connection and creativity and all sorts of goodness. And what about conscious commerce? What about kind, compassion-based commerce and exchange of services? All right, so that's a whole nother video. Now let me talk about these 3 things to be aware of. All right, so the first one is a lot of empaths can be ambition adverse, meaning we can have the mindset, well, that's not really for me to do. Other people are going to be better at that. I'm not extroverted enough. I couldn't handle the responsibility or the spotlight. There's a lot of reasons why empathic entrepreneurs can be a little more ambition adverse. Now let me clarify something here, because I know from myself and also from people that I work with, a lot of empaths are actually quite ambitious, can be quite ambitious. And the self-doubt piece can be harder for us, not because of doubting who we are, but because of the fear of putting ourselves out there and the possible rejection and criticism. And we worry that we would have to change who we are in some negative ways in order to become successful. Which leads me to point number 2. Often we feel we have to toughen up in order to become an entrepreneur because of the competition, because of the people that we may see who are successful sell their soul in order to be so. But these are all past paradigm ideas. And really what the world is asking for is this, I believe this to be true, very much so, I feel it in my bones, is this empathic, conscious, compassionate entrepreneurism. And you're already there as being somebody who cares deeply, and then you just need to learn the self-trust and the willingness to step out and be seen in your strength and also in your sensitivity. Okay, number 3 here, and that is being more selfish. Maybe that word triggers you. I totally get it. It has triggered me for a long time until I turned it into actually being self-full instead of selfish. I do have another video on this somewhere in my channel, so you can find it down there. I think it says something also about ego and being an empath. But you do need to become more selfish with your time, your energy, your boundaries, where you invest your energy, who you invest your energy with, and your self-care big time if you do decide to step more into any sort of public, spotlight or anything with your work as an entrepreneur, and believe me, you can also be an entrepreneur and work behind the scenes and get your work out there. So this is not all about being, in the spotlight, but it does require you to become more selfish. And really, honestly, anytime you're going to be standing on your own platform and sharing who you are, whether you're doing it for work or you're doing it for personal growth, it's going to require a certain amount of selffulness. I say selffulness instead of selfish because selfish sounds like you got a little self. What you want to be is actually full of yourself and in a good, loving, and empathic way towards yourself, believing in yourself. It reminds me of, there's a beautiful movie that Dr. Elaine Aron, who's one of the pioneers of the HSP type of person and study and research into how our brains are different, and she's got this beautiful movie called Eye Sensitive. I think you can find it on Gaia, and there's other places you can find it. But in there, she's got Alanis Morissette, who I'm sure you probably know, amazing musician, amazing creative, and an empath and HSP. And in there, she talks a lot about how, she really had to take care of herself and learn how to regulate herself energetically and emotionally, being on a stage in front of hundreds of thousands, and on tours and all of that. So yes, you can step into being an impassioned, yes, that too, an ambitious, impassioned, and beautifully contributing empathic and sensitive entrepreneur. And it does require that you learn how to take super beautiful care of yourself and be aware of your own limitations and also what feeds you and how to take care of yourself as you're stepping out. So yeah, it does require you to become more selfful or selfish, if you want to use that word, with your time and energies, and to make your energetic self-care and empowerment a priority. And that does take work, and it takes time, and you're worth it. And that's also going to help you get your beautiful gifts into the world, your beautiful ideas, creative visions. And we need you. We really do. We really need to have your empathic, compassionate, creative, beautiful gifts. So please do take care of your beautiful, empathic, entrepreneurial heart. All right, thank you so much for watching. And if you'd like to stay in touch and receive things that I only send through my private community, you can find me at sensatesoul.com, as well as thesoultranslator.com, which is more my private coaching services. All righty, take super care. I'll see you in the next video. Okay, bye.